All right, the summer's blockbuster bounty unofficially over, and as a whole, Universal Studios coming in as a box office champ with 4 films to top the top 10 list, accounting for more than a third of all box office revenue this summer, including number 1, Jurassic Park, grossing $647.5 million. In the Foxlight, host Michael Tammero joins us now with more on what's happening. Michael.
Good morning.
What are you seeing out there?
Universal, baby. I mean, they are it this summer, and probably going into award seasons too. They have a lot of contenders. You know, prior to this summer, they were always kind of the stepchilds of all the studios, being passed from corporate parent to corporate parent. They had never had a billion-dollar movie. This summer, they can boast 3 between Furious 7, Jurassic World, and Minions. They've had an amazing summer. One of the all-time big winner for this year. One of the biggest losers is Sony. I mean, they're down 75% compared to last year. Their only hit this summer was a movie, a faith-based movie called War Room, made for $3 million.
Opened at number 1 last week.
Opened up at number 1, hasn't made $30 million yet. You know, a lot of people are saying if it wasn't for the Sony hack deal, that this would have been the summer that would have sent Amy Pascal home packing. I mean, big bombs like Aloha and Pixels.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting what the Sony hack has done. I mean, would you attribute that to sort of an underperformance?
No, I think it's the movies. I mean, the movies stunk. Yeah. I mean, Aloha was awful. Pixels, you know, Adam Sandler's kind of on the back end of his career at this point. You know, that said, there were some other good trends out there this summer in terms of winning movies. Women, you know, funny women. We were just talking about Bridesmaids. Are turning
Pitch
into
Perfect did extremely well.
Pitch Perfect, Trainwreck, and Spy, another Melissa McCarthy movie next summer.
What about Mad Max Fury Road?
Not so good. It kind of underperformed. You know, Warner Brothers was really hoping to kind of relaunch that franchise.
Like Burning Man on film.
It didn't do for them what they were hoping for.
How would you know about Bernie? Have you been to Burning Man?
Yes, I have twice.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Recently you went, right?
Yes, last weekend.
You did?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where are the photos?
You know, what happens in Burning Man stays in Burning Man.
Dagen gets right down to it, don't you?
I want to see your outfit that you put together and your vehicle that you were driving around.
So you love Burning Man?
What? Well, I'm forced. My better half forces me to go, but it's not. It's 3 days. I can take 3 days. After 3 days, the dust wins out and I leave. But it's an amazing experience. 80,000 people in the desert. Quite extraordinary.
Do you stay connected?
No, that's the big problem. You take a satellite phone. That's the only way. So I'm sitting in the middle of the playa with my satellite phone. We've got a lunatic here. But there is some connection. Actually, BlackBerries work better than Apple iPhones.
Oh, wow.
Last year, the BlackBerry worked much more effectively than the Apple iPhone.
Is that interesting? All right, HBO releasing its first look at the new Bernie Madoff movie. Robert De Niro, Michelle Pfeiffer starring as Bernie and Ruth Madoff, respectively. What's your take, Michael Tammero?
They're dead on. Dead ringers.
Yeah?
And get ready for a lot of Bernie Madoff movies. ABC has a miniseries coming out as well. So, you know, this one's going to be on HBO. I'm sure it's going to be really good. I mean, Robert De Niro, Michelle Pfeiffer, Blythe Danner, and Richard Dreyfuss star as the same pair in the ABC version. So we're going to see how all these do.
We should have the photo. They have the photo, right?
Of De Niro and Madoff. Yeah, we showed that.
Yeah, but it's an HBO movie because nobody would actually pay money to see it. Right? Who's going to pay $15 to see a movie about Bernie Madoff?
This is true.
Nobody.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So HBO makes it. And it'll win them some more awards.
Yeah.
Tonight, what about The Visit?
The Visit, everyone's saying it's M. Night Shyamalan's big comeback. You know, it's produced by Jason Blum, who's a genius. Not only is he a great storyteller, but he has a very different model for Hollywood. He doesn't make a movie for more than $5 million, and they've all gone on to gross tens of millions. Paranormal, Insidious,
Whiplash.
The Purgers.
Didn't he do Whiplash?
They distributed also The Normal Heart, another HBO movie. You know, they made Paranormal for $15,000. It went on to gross over $200 million.
Yeah.
So these are margins that studios envy. This one, The Visit, opens up tonight, and it's probably going to do really well.
Martin, what about the movie companies? I mean, the media stocks have been crushed, as we know. How would you characterize media companies today, the larger owners of the studios?
Well, they're very, very challenged. If you look at them as media companies as a whole, what's really interesting is that many of the people who lead the media companies will not be here in 3 or 4 years' time. I mean, with the exception probably of this organization, all the leadership in 4 or 5 years' time will change, which is really interesting. It comes back to what I was saying before, what makes New News Corp or News Corp and Fox really interesting is their structure and their commitment to the long term. The other media companies, you're going to see changes in the senior leadership, and so they will not be dealing with some of the issues we touched on before. You know, what's going to happen to network television? What's going to happen to streaming? What's going to happen in relation to Netflix and Hulu and measurement? And all these issues are long-term issues a lot of the current leadership will not be dealing with. So I think a really interesting time. Now, content obviously is extremely important. So the things that we're discussing in terms of feature films and content, what Netflix is going to do in terms of its production budget. I am told that their commitments are total $4.5 billion. Wow. So they have the second largest budget already in terms of commitments within the industry. So the development of content, you know, we've been heavily involved with Media Rights Capital, which produced House of Cards for
Congratulations.
Netflix and full screen. Minority investment in that. Full screen as well, 100 YouTube channels. And of course Vice, you know, which again
Vice is on fire.
Fox have invested in too, and we have 10% of Vice, and Shane Smith has done an incredible job. People said young millennials and centennials are not interested in the news. Think again. It's just a different way of presenting news. They are interested in the news. It's just a different way of presenting it. Less stuffy.
They consume it differently, right?
Yeah.
Vice was a great investment for you.
Lucky, very lucky.
It's been great having you on the show today.
Thank you very much.
Martin Sorrell.
Happy birthday, Maria.
Thank you so much, Martin. Michael Tammero, always a pleasure to see you. Dagen, Mcdowell.